get to the tutorial, I'm gonna show you what the end product will sound like with some post-production here and there to make it sound better. I'll show the first one now. And the second one. So these bass tones are made out of 2 free VSTs with some free VST effects on them as well. Everything in this video is free except the DAW and the stock plugins that I'm going to use, such as the default chorus or the default OTT or reverb, but that's basically up to you depending on what you want to choose. So this bass tone, it's split into 2 pieces. So the first one is this more aggressive, harsh sounding, very thin central tone. And then the second one is a lot wider, but it's not as harsh sounding. It's more intended to give body to the bass. Because without each other, well, it sounds kind of empty, so. Okay, the first one I'm going to show you is the harsh upfront bass, which is made using Helm. There. So I'll put the links for the downloads in the description. So your initial preset is going to look like this. It's going to sound like this. It's just a saw wave. So what you do is that you set the second oscillator to be this squarish wave. Turn up the mod until it sounds good to you. Yeah, 66 sounds good to me. And up the number of voices it has. I'm going to keep it at 7 for both. If you want, you can add a little bit of detune between them to give some more texture. Just a little bit. And in the mixer, you're going to want the square wave to be a bit quieter than the saw wave. There you go. And next on the reverb, gonna have a very short room reverb to give it a slight metallic tone. Be sure to turn the voices down to just 1 so that it doesn't interfere with each other when you do multiple notes. Change it to legato and change the portamento time to how much you want it to glide. That sounds good to me. And finally, you put in a filter. Set it to the peak filter and just find a frequency that makes the bass sound good to you. There you go. That's the bass tone. chorus, we're going to put CamelCrusher to thicken up the signal a bit. Maybe not an Annihilate, but on Tube Warmth. There you go. And then finally this MSED by Voxengo, which is also a free plugin. This controls the mid and the sides of the sound. As you can see, our sound is kinda heavy on the center, so I'm just gonna decrease the mid signal by about 4. So I added 4 to the side signals and I subtracted 4 from the mid signal so that it sounds less thin. And that's the hum tone finish. The second bass tone, or the second bass layer, is going to be made with Tyrell. This is a free VST made by UHE. You might know them for Diva or Serum, and you can download it at amazona.de. As you can see, I'm on the amazona.de website on the download page. If you see that it's in German and you don't speak German, don't panic, because if you scroll down you can see downloads are in English. So how we're going to make the tone in Tyrell is that we are going to change it from poly to legato, up the voices to an odd number. Doesn't really matter which. I personally like odd numbers because it sounds more interesting. It's just personal preference. Like, not one that transposes it down an octave because it's already kinda low. And then you can move down shape 2 so that it's less squarish. And move Tmod 2 up until 12. You can tell it's at 12 already because you can hear the sound stop being dissonant. There you go. Take oscillator 1 and 2, move it up however you like, depending on which one you want to be more prominent. Some feedback can give some width to it. You can up the noise. Just a tiny bit of noise. And also a little bit of glide. And put the soft sync on max. Then go to envelope 1 and change the release to how you want it. If you want it to be shorter or as long as you want. And then finally we're going to turn on the chorus, change it to dramatic, and move the wet down a bit. Maybe move the depth down a bit too. And there you go. So then we're going to put CamelCrusher in this again. warmth. Just mess with the settings until it sounds good to you, to be honest. And then finally some MSED. Since this is the background wider synth, we're going to need to lower the mid gain some more so it doesn't interfere with the central one. Sounds good already. Just rename this one Tyrell. Group them together. And now I'm just going to write a quick little melody or something like that to just test what both the basses sound like when playing together. Okay, I made a quick little demonstrational melody to show what these two sound like when played alongside each other. Doesn't sound quite right yet, so you might want to tune the width of the individual synths so that they fit into each other properly. Okay, now that the basses generally fit with each other, on the group we're gonna glue them together with a little bit of chorus. I cannot spell. Lower that to maybe 25. And some OTT. Lower that to about 50. And some reverb. Increase the pre-delay a little bit less of decay time. Make the dry wet about 33, I guess. And one more MSED for good measure. And then we're going to copy over the side chain from the other one. I think it's still a bit quiet, so I'm going to up the volume a bit. Limiters are important. I'm also not good at mixing either. I'm just doing whatever sounds good-ish. And there you go. As compared to the demo, it sounds different because I put different volume levels on the middle synth and the side synth. You can mess around with how these two are how the volume is set next to each other. So maybe you can have the wider synth be louder, or you could have the middle synth be louder, depending on the sound you want. That's pretty much a tutorial done already. Hope it helped, and